Ken.
No, I think we're kind of beating that one down, and
Yeah, I'm ready.
we just let's move on to the wide receivers, I think.
So John Brown, listen, just put on 15 and Carl finds you. I guess I don't know as far as that goes, but the guy can get deep. I have no idea what the deal is. Next year is all about 89 and 11.
I agree. 100%, man.
like
100%.
nothing he brings to the table is going to change my mind about it. It's about that it's about developing those two players. I know I'm hearing reports that from the Athletic that the team likes Edwards better than I don't care. Like those two guys are going to get reps. They're going to get touches. They're going to get targets. And we need to see what they can actually do. And I think I think instead of I know he's stubborn. He's not going to do it, but you can run your offense how you want to run it. But going back and looking at what made Ruggs really successful at the University of Alabama, a school that knows how to win games and knows how to pump out players and actually put them in good positions to make plays, would be probably the best way of doing it. It's not just the go routes, it's the slants. It's all the different things that he does. And he also is a guy who can windmill dunk. So you can throw him jump balls. Tyreek Hill, you can throw him jump balls and he will get those jump balls over 6'3", 6'4" corners and safeties because he can jump out of the building. And DBs usually don't have the skill of being able to catch the football.
You guys are making all this big deals about number 11, number 89, John Brown. We all know who the real number one wide receiver is, number 13, the GOAT, Hunter Renfrow. No, listen, in all honesty, the number one wide receiver is 83, Waller. That's your number one wide receiver.
He's the
X. And it doesn't matter who's doing what. That's going to be the first option all the time. And it should be because he's earned it and he's awesome. That dude can ball. If you look at John Brown, Nelly wanted to move on. He proved it. He got paid. He went on. Good. They didn't balk at it. We
could not have it would not be fiscally correct to match that offer. I mean, he's not a $13 million a year receiver. He's just
I agree, and I like that they did bring John Brown because if you look at the overall careers, I think John Brown is more consistent. John Brown is more consistent than Nelly was, but I agree. I love the statement though. The future is within that first pick that we took last season with Ruggs and Edwards. That's got to be, and then you keep using Renfrow.
And before
he resigns Zay Jones.
That's your boy.
Before Sean comes in real quick, Pro Football Focus had Hunter Renfrow rated out of 127, the 42nd out of 127 receivers in the league. So I know you love 13, so I just want to make sure you know that.
Hey, you know what? Throw him the ball more.
In the slot, he's
always open.
Underrated punt returner. If Jonathan Abram could never not hold on his punt returns, he'd have a couple touchdowns too.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, the wide receiver group's interesting. Losing Aguilar, I thought was kind of a big deal, just because, like we talked about, the offensive line, the unknowns between Ruggs and Edwards. But, your time's up. You got to come to the forefront and prove it. The organization invested in you.
They have to.
John Brown, I don't expect much from. Now, I'll be honest. I said the same thing about Aguilar last year. So I'm hoped I'm proved wrong. He has that same speed. He's not even 180 pounds. He's like, we're talking Deshaun Jackson type. I mean, this is a light, quick wide receiver. He's on the other side of 30. We knew it was going to be somebody with veteranship. The problem is the wide receiver room. Now John Brown is the veteran. Like that's who we have. Everyone else is very young between Renfrow and Edwards and Ruggs, and then Zay Jones, who's just a mid-tier career roster spot. There's really not much to expect there. So, it's important when these guys are in their positional groups and meetings all week, like who's the leader of the wide receiver group. So that's what I'm interested. Yes, Waller is a leader productive wise, but he's in another room called the tight end group with another positional coach going over different things and different dynamics of the offense. So I just hope it works. Ruggs got to come to the forefront quick. Gruden again, like this is it, man. Like I thought they'd be players for maybe a big body wide receiver, but Edwards is that. They have the quick guys. They have Renfro, the reliable guy. They have Waller. It's all there.
They were in on Marvin Jones and he went to Jacksonville.
Yeah, they gave Marvin Jones some sort of an offer. We do not know. And the reason I was smiling, Dwayne, is because you said Aguilar is not a $13 million
a year
wide receiver. Well, in the first year of Kenyon Drake's contract with his guaranteed money, it's about the same number for a backup running back. So that's why I was like, let's just hope. I think his base salary is around 5.5, yeah. And then with his guaranteed money, it's like 11 to 13 mil. But some of the thing, I don't care. It's not my money. But regardless, they just got to make some of these things work. But the wide receiver group, it's Carr, dude. He throws the ball to everybody, right? Yeah. So there's
equal opportunity passer.
Exactly. So it's almost like Drew Brees, but without a Michael Thomas. Like the ball is going to go everywhere. So I don't expect. That's why fantasy football, Gruden's offense. Yeah, Waller, but everyone else, like who are you going to take? Like Ruggs might do better, but we're not going to have like 3,000-yard wide receivers. That'd be great, but it's interesting. So I'm a little bit calm in the wide receiver group. Carr's going to find the open conservative man, quick off the ball, and we'll just run with it.
We'll see. Defensive line, David Irvin is back. Solomon Thomas, Quentin Jefferson, and then Yannick Ngakoue is going to play that speed rusher role, that Leo position that they desperately need. Just a quick thought on the defensive line.
Ngakoue, man, I've been wanting him.
We've been talking about him forever.
Last year,
yeah. And he along with, I think in the press conference, along with
Solomon Thomas.
Kenyon Drake have been like outwardly talking about how they were excited to come to the Raiders. So we'll have to see what happens as far as that goes. But I mean, he is one of the leaders in forced fumbles, one of the leaders in pressures since he got in the league. Always around the quarterback, always waiting to give big effort on. I think the effort he gives on some of these plays is what you really like. Even when the play looks dead, he's still coming after the quarterback. I understand that people are going to try to run the football at him because he's a little bit lighter on that side, but that's where you have that strong side. Linebacker there to help out on that. So we'll see what happens there. What are your thoughts about Yannick Ngakoue? I think it's pretty. They needed a pass rusher and they got one.
Yeah, I think you take one of the best ones out there that was available, and he seems like he wants to be here, which is even better. And what's even more exciting is it's not Paul Gunther calling the plays. And I think the back end is a benefit from that pass rush. And you know what? People say stats don't lie, but they kind of tell the truth of how he's played, and he's pretty consistent. He's been pretty dominant. I'm hoping Solomon Thomas can live up to his name, and maybe with this rebirth. And I liked him coming out of college, and he kind of just it didn't work out. But I'm excited. I think that they addressed the pass rush, and that's something that all of Raider Nation was calling for, and I'm excited to see what it comes out to as far as on the field.
Yeah, I can't say anything indifferent that I haven't. Ngakoue is the biggest free agent of this class and the most important critical need. I think so. I won't really say much there. I'm thrilled to have him. Talked about it on the last show. So we hope we get his full health and productivity. He'll be a difference maker.
Play 16 games a year, which is nice.
An actual person that makes game-changing turnovers happen, that creates pressures, that make timing off on routes and quarterback decision-making, puts you in the pressure cooker. So got it. The biggest thing to me out of this class, Jefferson has some experience with Gus Bradley. He's a fiery leader, which I like. He's kind of like your old school, tough, loud, vocal, wants to get after it. So I like having that. The interior pass rush is critical. But Solomon Thomas is the key to me. I mean, he's the key of this. It was an Al Davis kind of move, right? A former first-round pick. Had some injuries and stuff. Really hasn't done much statistically. But he's the key. Like, if he ends up being something beyond what we expect, then we're cooking with gas. Because I believe Max Crosby, as he's recently come out, he had a lot of issues off the field. He also had played injured with broken plates and things in his hands. I'm fine there. I'm confident with Crosby, David Irving. Yeah, I like the way he played down the stretch. I mean,
rotation now, right? A little rotation.
Depth rotation is important. You need to keep people fresh. If the offense is still scoring around 30 points a game, guess what? You need to have closers on that pass rush. And Gus Bradley doesn't like the blitz, so you're going to have guys coming in and off the field all the time. So happy with Yannick. Solomon, that would be amazing. Jefferson, a nice depth rotational player in there. Suddenly there's a lot of depth on the defense line, and there's a lot of people that are going to be pushed and can't. Now that's a competitive room right there. You're talking about people like, I think they're admitting, Cleveland, we hope you have a role under Gus Bradley, but we're not putting you outside. You're not going to be on the edge for us anymore. You're probably going to find a depth rotational role as a pass rusher, but overall, with the kind of money they have, they did what they could. And being an organization, like Ken said, like some players don't want to be in-house because they don't think we're as close as we are. With all those things considered, they were able to make some solid moves on the defensive line depth.
And they're alphas too. Yeah, an alpha. And that's what you need.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cleveland's going to play on rundowns. I mean, that his strength is stopping the run. I mean, it's just that's what it is. And even last year, as bad as his defense was, there were numerous times that they just got teams in 3rd and 11s, 3rd and 15s,
and they couldn't finish it.
3rd and 18 in Denver, where they gave up a 90-yard touchdown to Drew Lock and company. Couldn't even complete that. So, like I think playing the same defense, consistently, we'll hopefully get that thing going. I'm a little excited about David Irvin, and he is a huge individual. Like he very, very quick off the blocks, can get pressure up the middle. I like him. Hopefully, he can stay healthy, because health has been the biggest issue for him. But yeah, Solomon Thomas, he is. If he can just stay healthy.
Yep.
And I mean, just being able to just stuff. I mean, even if he's just that supreme help stuff the run and put people in long yardage situations, it's going to really help the defense a whole lot. I mean, it's going to give Gus Bradley a lot of flexibility to close drives out, 3 and outs, 3 and outs, yep. like not being able to, not just going like the difference between a 3 and out and letting somebody drive all the way down for a field goal or getting the ball at the 50-yard line, like all those things like that. They really need desperately to be able to do that as far as stopping people. And then people talking about Max Crosby taking a step back, because he's going to get there's plenty of snaps to rush the passer.
Everybody.
It's a passing league. Look at our division. But with the exception of maybe the Broncos, everybody's passing. They're passing like crazy. Herbert's gonna be passing like crazy, and so is Mahomes. We know that. So that's.
And who cares? Like I don't care. I think we would have been better off if Isaiah Crowell never got hurt during Josh Jacobs' rookie year, because Josh wouldn't be getting all those carries.
Underrated big injury that year.
That was huge. We might have made the playoffs. And so I think sometimes when people talk about that, they fear losing snaps isn't necessarily something that a coaching staff is concerned about. A fan may say, well, we paid so much. It's about defining your role and your impact in that role. So, when your number's called, you're productive, like Renfro. He's not the focus of the offense, but when he gets the ball, he moves the chains. Alec Ingold, Not often is he getting touches, but when he does, he makes you say, wow. And that's kind of the key for the defense. I think Max Crosby was just, we were so scarce on pass rush that he had to be the guy every snap. I mean, that was it.
And
so
he was not giving up
yeah.
either on those plays, man.
Oh, no.
No, he
Tough
was a
guy.
high motor. Yeah. But you get tired, and it's all about rotation. I love
him.
Yeah.
That rotation is going to be huge. I know on the Put on Waivers podcast we do an NFL show. I know Ryan Holmes really likes the Quentin Jefferson move as well. So up front, the guy from the Buffalo Bills. So we'll see what happens there. That leaves safety. Oh yeah, the guy who's going to play single high safety in this cover three defense. So I'm to shed a little bit of light on it. I think that what we have to look forward to is go to your trusted computer, Raider fans, and look at the starting safeties or the top 5 safeties in college, because that's been pretty much the MO of what Gus Bradley does as far as his starting safety. I mean, he usually takes him out of college. I know for me, my heart sank when I saw Anthony Harris get signed a 1-year deal for $5 million.
Crazy.
Like that was like, when I watched that dude on film, it's like, dude, it's like he's a robot. He has no hips. He's almost like he turns so fluidly. It's almost like he's the remember Terminator, the fluid dude, like
the T8, that one T1000, I think.
The T1000, like that's what he plays safety like. I mean, it's just like it's like he's here, then he's there. And he would have been great in his defense. And
I agree.
So I mean, so it is what it is. But like those that's the place you're gonna have to go for their safety. I really think that's where they're gonna end up doing it. And I don't know if they're going to trade up in the second round, or if they're going to spend that first round pick on a safety. But I really think it's coming in the draft, and I think that's basically where my mind is. I don't know what your thoughts about it is, because I really don't, because they're not going to go into the season with
whoever they got.
Who? I can't even name them.
With Jeff Heath as starting center. I mean, as starting free safety.
Well, I'm going to just say this out loud, and I don't know if I'm going to get flack for this from you guys, but I'm still kind of hoping they bring in Sherman. I think that Sherman is that background alpha, that he could play free safety. I know his tackling's not there, but I'm more thinking of like the Raider aura, and just to get these young kids to get going. When you still go through the draft, though, I agree. I think you should draft second, third round, a good safety out there. And I know there's going to be some available.
That's what I would have done. Yeah. Get Harris on a 1-year deal, and then
he probably just didn't want to come here. He probably didn't believe in it.
And then, well, who knows what the conversation was? Who knows? But I mean, me personally, I would have drafted one. I would have got a veteran and then drafted one. And then there's still players out there, but I see.
I'm hoping it's going to be Sherman. I really do. And there's a reason why he hasn't signed yet. I don't know.
I mean, as far as free safety, yeah, that's hard to address right now. I don't think I think because of the transactional Mariota move today, that frees up money. I think there'll be buyers now. So I think that's the next signing we'll see will be a defensive back. I don't know if it's going to be someone slot corner or whatever the instance is.
Slot corner is needed.
Which is a need too. So unfortunately, because Meek Robinson, we got to see what Gus can do. Isaiah John, he's got to peg some people around. The Sherman name makes so much sense. So did a lot of these other names that they didn't sign though. So I think.
Go ahead, Sean.
No, go. Finish. I didn't see. I probably didn't see it.
On Twitter, the whole thing between
Earl Thomas
and Sherman. Like, I mean, that's being playful. Probably. I don't know if that's something real.
I
it'd be cool. It'd be cool.
But I wouldn't mind. This is where I'm at. Check a box before you get to the draft. You don't
check
have
as
to
many boxes, right? Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't have to be like whatever you think of Sherman, you're checking a box. He's familiar with Gus Bradley. He has veteran leadership. He'll be a captain, like, okay, athletically and tackle wise, and we're not going to expect the world of him, but there's someone in place. And then when you draft somebody in that position as well, they get that mentorship from Sherman. So that's okay with me.
And
Earl Thomas. I mean, there's so much there to unpack, but kind of wild. But at the same time, these players,
that free time in Vegas, that could be dangerous.
Ngakoue does not come to Las Vegas. Ngakoue does not come to Las Vegas if we don't have Gus Bradley. Zero chance. That's
100%.
Zero.
That's very
I don't even. Or we'd have to pay a load beyond what we did.
That's very true.
I have to trust that process a little bit. Same with Jefferson. And the respect that people say about Gus Bradley is insurmountable. You know, I'm not saying he's going to do everything perfect, but if it's going to help us get destination players on defense, please. I can't remember the last time the Raiders had a good defense. I didn't have wrinkles around my eyes. I didn't have the concerns I do now in life. It's been a long time, so we'll bring it. But yeah, Earl Thomas, like you said, Dwayne. Yeah, Vegas is an interesting place, but to bring him in,
yeah. Seriously.
But you know, they got to do something. I believe we'll have a good episode coming up, but we'll just cover the draft because the draft's very important. Yes, I do believe. I looked at the safeties too a little bit, and just off the top of it, it's hard. It's hard to pick. I don't know what Gus Bradley's thinking, but if he's seeing a certain guy that he thinks will be there in the second round or whatever, it's really difficult. It's probably a good thing, just like offensive tackle, because in the second round, you could probably get a nice starter at right tackle second round this year in this tackle draft. So it's going to be more about the whole room, reading the room with Gruden and Mayock and Gus. And okay, so what is our value here for safety? But I mean, it just feels like Raiders ball. I want safety back there. We got Abram, who hopefully gets a role where he's just whacking the hell out of people over the middle of the field. And hopefully we have a playmaker on the back. Just give me that.
Yeah. I mean, and he's shown and watching these games back of the season, like Abram just gives you some flashes of some tackles that where you're like, damn. But then he also gives you that. It's like the speed and like the heat-seeking missile. Like if he's gonna be like in his defense, him playing the strong safety, being closer to the line of scrimmage, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be must-see TV to see what happens there. The other thing is, we also talk about Tape Don't Lie all the time. Those guys over there, and they did a breakdown of the slot corners. And one of the slot corners that BD mentioned was Nevin Lawson. And Nevin Lawson is basically, and when I watched his breakdown, I was saying to myself, this guy is the DJ Hayden of this team.
Interesting.
When the ball, he does everything right, step for step. Like even in the Sunday night game they played against the Chiefs, step for step with Tyreek Hill.
Can't seal the play.
Or panics when the ball's in the air. And it's just like if Millis can work with him because it's not the foot speed, it's not the physicality of the slot. He can handle all those things. It's just simply put, why can't if you can just not panic when the ball's in the air and doesn't get those penalties, he'll be fine. One thing about Sherman, and I'll let you guys go real quick. I always talk about this all the time with cornerbacks. Like some people just it's an art form to catch a football that's not meant for you.
Yep.
And he is really good at it. Like how many times do these drives could have ended for any team if the cornerback had caught the football? You know what I'm saying? So many INTs get dropped, even the ones that are the ducks in the air, and you're like, oh, you could fair catch it, and they still drop it because they'll know how to do that. Sherman is really good at that, and I think that him and Ngakoue would really they would make some plays in this defense. I think, no question.
Well, I'm glad you brought up with Millis, and he's going to coach these younger guys, and we're hearing all this good stuff about him. I don't know too much about him other than what I've heard recently. But one thing, you got to pound the table for these alphas, and it's gonna teach these young guns. We got Arnett on one side, you've got what's his name? 27. Who was his name?
Mullen.
Trayvon Mullen. And then you have a Meek in the slot, maybe. I don't know, but and Abram too. Yeah. They're all young. They're all young, and there's
Isaiah Johnson.
Isaiah Johnson
could be Arnett in the slot. You never know.
Yeah, and then even look at the defensive line. You've got Crosby and Farrell, who they've invested a first-round pick in Farrell, and I think Ngakoue brings that. He's going to bring that to that defensive line. So I'm excited. I'm just hoping that they can get a dog back there, somebody that's going to bark, and that he's a walking Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see if that happens. That's the one piece of it that I really feel like, if they can just shore up that part of it and get somebody who we're confident in, then it would feel a little bit better. Because then if you have two impact players added on your defense with the young players, and listen, if you can't like when we had BD on, he basically said, if you can't play this defense, then you can't be in the law. You can't be in the and this
last tour.
Exactly. And I'm telling you, like he got a guy who was a talented player traded to Tennessee because he didn't buy into this defense. So like Gruden wants to get stops, and I do think he'll listen to his friends. And this friend who's a defensive coach looks like he's a better friend coach than the other one. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. I mean, players. I never heard a player say they wanted to play for a PG. I never. Yeah.
Fontes perfect. That was the only one. That was the only one. He said the first person I called when I got released was my mom. The second person I called was Paul Gunther. I remember reading that article and being like, "Oh shit, we're in trouble."
Oh my gosh, that was crazy. That was terrible. Anything else? Anything else? As we wrap up the show right now.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I know there's there's not as weird things going on right now. I hate seeing people go after other people on Twitter, and not like you're allowed to have opinions and stuff.
You got rated reporters going after each other.
Yeah, it's fucking bananas, dude.
They got beef.
Bananas.
It's like a war going on outside. You can't escape.
It's the animals are gonna eat the animals, man. It's crazy, and just be careful out there. And those Twitter streets are mean. But like Sean, I know Sean, you're very very opinionated. You have to have the tough skin to go out there and put an opinion. Be prepared for it to go south if nobody agrees with you, because those dogs will mount up on you real quick. And I don't want any part of it. Not gonna ruin my day, none. But I just want the Raiders to win, because that's gonna cure it all.
Yeah. For sure, man. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to close. I'm just excited to just kind of see what shores up.
I'm excited to see Sean break down Andre James every play next year.
Oh, I'll be the first one. I'm sorry.
I
will be the first one. I will be the first one. I promise.
That's funny. So I want to thank everybody who participated in our poll. The question was, do you agree with the acquisition of Kenyon Drake? And 90, good move or bad move was the choices, and 93.9% of Raider Nation said that they liked the move. So we'll see. We'll keep those polls coming, and I believe that it was very similar on our Instagram page as well. So, I just think this. Like I said, I'm so sick of. If it helps 28 finish the season, more power to the running game. More power.
Booker wasn't doing that. That's true.
Nah, Booker, he's in New York right now. New York spent a whole lot of money. And listen, the media is mostly New York, mostly Boston. So the Pats have won a whole lot. So when they spend money like a drunken sailor this offseason, nobody's gonna criticize them for it. I mean, like they
want to keep their jobs.
Exactly. I mean, Kenyon Bourne getting. I mean, Jason Bourne should have got paid what Kenyon Bourne's getting paid. I mean, my God, dude, like, he's getting paid a lot of money. So the only guy who I think should have got paid was maybe Hunter Henry. I mean, and he's the guy who's always hurt. So we'll see what happens there. But the division, I think the no-fly zone. They're trying to recreate a no-fly zone out there in Denver. So they have a really good team on defense. They still struggle on the offensive line. So we'll see what they do there. And they don't know what they're going to do at quarterback. Like I said, I can't worry about anybody else's house until we clean ours. So, Great Nation, we got to clean our house.
Disinfect.
Give me the Windex. I'll start.
All right, gentlemen. You have a great night.
Thank you.